Hi everyone, I'm Collins Obo by name and I welcome you to Rehoboth Edu-Tech and Research, RITA. So today, we'll be talking about how to choose a good research project topic. You know, one problem that students have had over time is how to choose a good research project topic, because the research project topic determines the direction, the flow of your research. And so today I'll be taking you through the nitty-gritty of choosing a good research project topic. We'll be looking at the introduction, factors influencing choice of a research project topic, quality of a good research project topic, and examples of a good research project topic in humanities, management sciences, and art. Before we begin, let's look at this. Every meaningful research starts with a purpose. It could be to solve a problem, ignite innovation, create new knowledge, challenge existing narratives, and empower evidence-based decisions that shape the future. Please don't let this leave you. Every research project starts with a purpose, and that purpose could be to solve problems, could be to ignite innovation, could be even to create new knowledge and or challenge existing knowledge. And so, it is a research project topic. A research project topic is a concise and purposeful caption that defines a specific area of interest and captures the broad aim of the research. It determines the direction, quality, and relevance of the entire research investigation. It could be in the form of a question, or a phrase, or a plain assertion. Factors influencing the choice of a good research project topic. We have about 10 factors there. I'll run them down and then we'll discuss each one of them. So we have personal interest, supervisor's interest, funder's interest, contemporary relevance, the problem to address, variable measurability, data type, nature and availability, methodology, design and statistical tool, objective and study domain, time frame, and finance. So we're starting now with the personal interest. Personal interest is the intrinsic or inner motivation that inspires and sustains a researcher's interest or passion for a particular field of research. So you see that your inner interest is what drives you. That thing you are interested in, that problem you want to solve, that new knowledge you want to create, you are happy about it, you're loving what you're doing, you're looking forward to the end of your research. And so for you to get a good research project topic, you have to have your personal interest. This is the foundation for every meaningful research. The researcher himself is interested, is happy to do what he's doing. And so when you are considering your either undergraduate project, master's project, or PhD project work, you have to have a personal interest. There's that inner drive that keeps you going. Even when you are having challenges on the way, you are happy doing what you're doing and you believe that every challenge is surmountable. And so you don't back out. You keep moving because you are happy doing what you're doing. And that is personal interest. Every researcher needs this inner drive, and that drive inside of you is the personal interest. And so being interested and loving what you do are essential for nurturing creativity, resilience, and excellence in scholarly exploration. The next, which is supervisor's interest. Supervisors are experienced researchers with proven expertise and competence in their respective fields. They may identify emerging research areas and assign relevant topics to their supervisees. This approach provides a solid research direction and valuable mentorship, and it can ultimately result in publication in reputable journals. To the next point, which is the funder's interest. Funders are individuals or organizations that support research projects through grants or sponsorship. they give grants to researchers, be it undergraduate student, master's student, or a PhD student, or researchers generally. But many times they give you this fund and they have an agenda, they have priority area of the problems they want to solve. And so if you are picking up a research grant, you have to title your research project in line with the funder's research priority interest. They often have specific areas of interest and expect grant awardees to frame and title their research projects in ways that align with their research priorities. The next factor that determines your choice of a good research project topic is contemporary relevance. Contemporary and relevant topics enhance a research project's potential to generate new knowledge and address present-day problems. There is no need reinventing the wheel. When you are coming up with your research project topic, think of areas that are contemporary, areas that will solve a contemporary problem, present problem that is ongoing. But when the problem within that field has been solved or something advanced had already overtaken the event, then you discover that you will most likely be wasting your time because you are not bringing any new knowledge, you are not innovating anything, you are not solving any problem. For example, artificial intelligence and sustainability are contemporary and relevant areas that can be applied across discipline and fields of study. The next is the problem to address. To conduct an excellent research project, the researcher must identify a genuine problem within the field or discipline, which should be clearly reflected in the formation of the project topic. When you're choosing your research project topic, one of the factors that should guide your choice of the topic to research into is the problem you want to solve. Sit down and ask yourself, what problem do I want to solve by embarking on this research project? You have to ask yourself that. It's very, very important, because if you don't have a problem you want to solve, you'll just be doing something that has no direction. Research problems can be practical, empirical, theoretical, geographical, or methodological. Addressing these problems enables innovation, knowledge creation, and informed decision making. So, knowing the problem that you want to solve is very, very important, relevant, even in your choice of research project topic. The next is the variable measurability. Before settling on a research project topic, researchers should ensure that both the dependent and independent variables can be clearly operationalized and reliably measured. This is very important. It's not just about coming up with a beautiful research project topic. Have you thought of, am I able to conceptualize or operationalize my variables? And am I able to measure these variables? Because by the time you start these projects, at the end of the day, when you get to your methodology and you are not able to measure, operationalize or measure this variable, you discover that you have to start all over again, changing your topic. And these are reasons why, after spending a number of time conducting your research, and you come to a stage where you can no longer forge ahead, you just have to start all over again. So the problem is coming from your title. And I would advise you, before you settle for that project topic, do a little search whether other researchers have been able to measure that particular variable, because you don't want to start something and at the end of the day you are not able to complete it and you would have to start all over again. And the next is data type, nature, and availability. In choosing a research project topic, researchers should consider whether the study will require primary or secondary data, and whether the data set will be cross-sectional, that's pool, time series, or panel in nature. In addition, they must confirm that they have access to the required data or possess the capacity to collect it. Without accessible data, a research project topic remains only an idea that cannot be successfully investigated. So what we are saying here is that you have to have it in mind when you are coming up with your research project topic, that this research that I'm about to engage in, would I be needing a primary data? Would I be needing a secondary data? Or will my data set be a panel data or time series data? And another thing you have to consider is, this data I'm looking at, Can I access them? Do I have the capacity to collect them? For example, if you were trying to do a research project that has to do with fraud, and remember that fraud is done in secret, do you have access to this data? So it's not enough having a beautiful topic if the data that will help you to empirically investigate even this research are not available, then you only be wasting time. And so before you set out, even in deciding on your research project topic, think about the availability of the data you want to collect. In addition to the data type, nature, and availability, we look at the methodology to be adopted. The empirical strength or rigor of a research project depends largely on its methodology. Hence, researchers should clearly identify the methodological approach that is best for the study when selecting a research topic. This entails choosing an appropriate research design, survey, ex post facto, experimental, or case study, and the relevant analytical techniques, linear or panel regression, correlation analysis, or independent or pair t-tests. What we are saying here is that when you are deciding on your research project topic, you have to think of the methodology to be adopted, and particularly the research design that you adopt. Is your research design for survey? Would you be using an ex post facto research design? Are you looking at a regression analysis? Because that will inform the framing of your research project topic. So it is very important to determine what research design that you intend to use or adopt even in your research project. This matters a lot because it will guide you and you will not have any problem or any need changing your topic once you start. Next, we're looking at the object or study domain. A research project must address specific problems within a defined geographical area, discipline, field, or at a global level. Therefore, researchers must clearly determine the study's object and domain before finalizing the research title. A well-defined object and domain ensures analytical depth and embraces validity and generalizations. For example, a research may focus on SMEs in London. SMEs there is a study's object, while London is a study domain. And so it is very important because all this must reflect even in your title. So when you are titling your research project, you must be clear about the study object as well as the domain of the study. And we move to the next, which has to do with time and finance. Time and finance, they play major role even in choosing a research project topic. Look at this. Time and finance are major factors in determining a research project topic because they directly influence what is possible, feasible, and realistic. They determine the research design, methodological data type, and scope, and these factors directly shape the research project topic. Many times, students don't have enough time, and that's why we settle for sample. And so when you are determining your research project topic, think of the time frame that you have so that you can streamline your focus, you can streamline your study objects and also the domain. For example, if you're doing a study within Lagos State, you know you don't have the time to go around all the local government in Lagos State. So you have to streamline to a particular local government because you don't have all the time and you also don't have all the funds. So you have to think of the time frame and the fund available. And at times you could even streamline just to a little area. And once your methodology is sound, the finding can be generalized even to other areas. And so that's why we use sample even in the conduct of our research projects. Now, we'll be talking about the qualities of a good research project topic. And the first quality we'll be looking at is for the project topic to be concise. Titles are actually a caption of the broad objective of the research project. It must be clear, catchy, and kept simple. Averagely, a good title is within 15 to 20 words. So when you are writing out your research project topic, it must be concise. It's not a long sentence, it's not a paragraph, it's just a caption that captures the main objective of your research project. And so let it be catchy, simple, and straight to the point. This is how you caption your research project topic. Now we move to the second quality of a good research project topic, and it is that the research project topic must communicate clearly its broad objective. The broad objective of a research project is the projected overall aim it proposes to achieve. It is the kind of association it intends to establish between the variables. It could be impact, effect, independence, influence, or correlation between the variables. We move to the third quality of a good research project topic, and we'll say that your research project topic must at least contain one variable, and that variable must be the dependent variable. It is not compulsory that your research project should have both independent and dependent variable in the title. Although it is best if a research project topic contains both the independent and dependent variables, it is however not compulsory that the independent variable must feature in a research project topic. So look at this first example we are considering. Determinants of business growth among SMEs in America. Corporate characteristics and business growth among SMEs in America. Impact of size, advertisement, and government policy on business growth among SMEs in America. Now, you could see that topic 1 and topic 2 actually have the dependent variable, but the independent variable is clustered together as determinant or factors. You could see that the independent variable is not clearly identified there. It is clustered together as determinant or factors in topic 1 and 2. But when you get to topic 3, you discover that the independent variable are clearly stated there. We have size, we have government policy, and we have advertisement. So impact of size, advertisement, and government policy on business growth. So size is an independent variable, advertisement is an independent variable, and government policy is an independent variable on the dependent variable, which is business growth. So you could see from topic 1 and 2 different from topic 3. Topic 1 and 2 did not emphasize the independent variable, but the dependent variable remains business growth. And why topic 3 identified 3 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. It's also possible a topic may have more than 1 independent and dependent variables. This scenario largely depends on the nature and type of the research. The first topic, impact of technological advances on fraud detection and prevention in banks in the United Kingdom. Second topic, business re-engineering and growth among SMEs in the United Kingdom. The impact of corporate governance, foreign direct investment, and government policy. From the first one, technological advances is the only independent variable in that topic, while fraud prevention and detection are the 2 dependent variables. Furthermore, some researchers may incorporate a moderating variable into their research projects. This decision largely depends on the researcher's theoretical orientation and research objectives. A moderating variable is a variable that influences the strength or direction of the relationship between an independent variable and a dependent variable. It explains when, for whom, or under what conditions an independent variable affects a dependent variable. So you have seen from this that some researchers may decide to introduce a moderating variable into their title, and that is perfectly okay. It provides strength to the relationship that exists between your independent variable and dependent variable. For example, if training, that is independent variable, influences employee performance, dependent variable, work experience may serve as a moderating variable by strengthening or weakening the effect of training on performance. Now we're looking at 3 variables here. We are looking at training your employee, which is independent variable. We are looking at performance, which is the dependent variable, and we're looking at experience, work experience, because apart from training, work experience could also affect the impact of training on performance. So, and work experience is the moderating variable, and that is very important because it's not just the training that perhaps affects performance. Some other persons may acquire this training and yet fail to perform well. but work experience could play a role and on how training could affect performance. And so you see that work experience in that situation becomes a moderating variable. So you could introduce that into your research project topic, and it's perfectly okay and interesting. Now we are moving to the next quality of your research project topic, and that quality is that the research project topic must specify its study object or population of interest. The research object or population of interest is the focus of generalization of the research outcome or finding. This could be organizations, people group, country, or region. For example, a research may focus on banks, female CEOs, accountants, politicians, SMEs, manufacturing firms, sub-Saharan countries, or oil producing countries. So this is your object of study or population of interest, and it must feature in your title. So if you look at all the titles that we have been coming up with, you will discover that the object or population of interest is always in that title. You should have it at the back of your mind when coming up with your project topic. What is my object or population of interest? That is very important, because that is the object you will focus this research on, and when you have come up with your findings, you'll be able to now generalize even within that set of objects that your research is focused on. Now we move to the fourth quality, and this has to do with the domain. Your topic must specify the domain where this research is domiciled or conducted. This is very, very important. Let's take a look at this. The research scope or domain is the area of coverage where the research is executed or to be conducted. This could be geographical, theoretical, or discipline-wise. A research scope or domain may be limited to a country, for example in Ghana, region, for example in Africa, an area, for example in southern Nigeria, or a theory, for example seed theory. Discipline-wise, it could be computational thought, or by grouping, it could be developing countries, emerging economies. So whatsoever it is that you are focusing on, where the study is being conducted or focused on, then that becomes the scope or domain of the study. It could be in Nigeria, you're doing a study in Ghana, you're doing a study in America, you are doing a study focused on developing countries, you are doing a study focused on sub-Saharan countries, you are doing a study focused on emerging economies, you are doing a study focused on a region that's southwestern Nigeria, you are doing a study focused on a particular local government. And so whenever you are coming up with your project topic, you must identify these items. These are what makes your project topic of good quality. In summary, a good research topic should be methodologically feasible, empirically grounded, personally motivating, and clearly scoped. It should also be clear and brief without unnecessary words. It should reflect what the research intends to achieve and the outcome or effect being studied. It should specify who or what is being studied and the boundaries of the research project. Now we are taking a section which is the anatomy of a good research project topic. We have two research project topics there. The first one is determinants of ESG disclosure in listed companies in Ghana. The second one, factors influencing tax compliance among SMEs in Nigeria. So the first thing you will notice is that determinants and factors are the broad cluster that contains the independent variable. We said any determinant or factor could constitute the independent variable. And so for that particular topic, you could see that determinants and factor in there are the cluster that or the pack of independent variable, and in this there are more than one independent variable. You are looking at factors. You have not specified the factors in your topic, but in the work we'll get to know the factors. You are looking at determinants. You have not specified the determinants in your topic, but in your work will know what determinant you are looking for. And so this is a very good topic. Then the next anatomy we're looking at is the broad objective. Now these two topics, for example, the first topic is looking at determinant of. The second topic is looking at influencing. So these are the broad objective. So you're looking at something that is making another thing to happen, or something that is influencing the outcome of another thing. So the broad objective here is that you're looking at what the determinant of, that is, what is making the dependent variable to come out the way it's coming, and what affects the dependent variable. So take a look at it again. Determinant of, that plus the of defines the broad objective. Determinant alone focuses on a pack of independent variable, but determinant of now determines the broad objective. So you are looking at these determinants are influencing something, or affecting something, or causing the outcome of something. And so the same way with the factor. Now factors are a pack of independent variable, but now influencing defines the broad objective, just like the determinant of. And if you look at the third, ESG disclosure, tax compliance, these are the dependent variable in that topic. ESG disclosure, tax compliance, you could see from that these are the dependent variable. So now looking at that topic again, determinant of ESG disclosure, factors influencing tax compliance. So you see that is a complete topic, although we are yet to look at the domain and the object of focus. But with that, you are seeing now that the broad objective is well outlined. Determinant of ESG disclosure. So what's the broad objective? You are looking at, you are interested in what actually affects or influence ESG disclosure. And factors influencing tax compliance, you are interested in the factor that will make either taxpayers to comply or not to comply. So you see that the broad objective is well indicated there, outlined and projected even in these topics. Now we move to the object of or population of interest, and you could see that in these two topics, the first one is interested in listed companies, while the other topic is interested in SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises. So you could see that these are the object or population of interest. Now while you're looking at determinant of this ESG disclosure, and what's the population of interest among in listed companies. When you are looking at factors influencing tax compliance, you are interested. When you are looking at factors influencing tax compliance, your population, your object or population of interest is SMEs. So you are interested to looking at what determines SMEs to comply even with tax obligations. So you could see how this is very, very clear and straightforward concerning the object or population of interest. And the last there you could see is the domain or scope. And this study is interested in is being conducted or is being scoped or domiciled in Canada. That's the first, while the second in Nigeria. So it is clear where you are doing this study. It is clear where this study is coming from. It is clear that you are focusing on listed company in Canada. You are focused on SMEs in Nigeria. So you see that the scope or domain is well projected. So remember, when you are designing, you are coming up with your research project topic, you should be able to clearly outline even these items. Look at the next topic there. Impact of IFRS on financial performance in large insurance companies in Kenya. The moderating role of corporate governance. So this particular topic has a moderating variable. So if you look at this topic, for example, impact of is the broad objective. That is, this title contains what it really wants to investigate. Impact of, the broad objective. Now IFRS there is the independent variable. So in this particular type 2 topic, the independent variable is very clear. And so IFRS is that independent variable. Now we look also at the dependent variable. Financial performance is the dependent variable. So we're looking at how IFRS affect financial performance. So we read that again. Impact of IFRS on financial performance. That is the topic. That is what this research is interested in. Now we have to look at our object or population of interest. And looking at the topic, you could see that in large insurance companies. So our object or population of interest is large insurance companies. So we are interested looking at the impact of IFRS on financial performance in large insurance company. And large insurance company there is the object or population of interest. And so our domain or scope in this place is in Kenya. So this study is going to be conducted in Kenya. So the large insurance company are companies that are domiciled in Kenya. And this is very, very important, so that we don't expect results from you relating to companies in South Africa or in China or in America. You have specified where this study is domiciled, and it is in Kenya. Now this particular topic has introduced a moderating variable, and so the moderating variable there is corporate governance. So corporate governance is the moderating variable. So you are saying that beside IFRS affecting performance, corporate governance could determine the strength of that relationship, the strength of the impact, the strength of the influence, the strength of which IFRS has on financial performance. And so that becomes a moderating variable, moderating the relationship between IFRS and financial performance. Let's also look at this topic. Effect of forensic accounting on fraud detection, prevention, and investigation in banks in the United Kingdom. So from this topic, you could see the broad objective effect of. So this study is interested in studying or investigating effect. How one variable has an effect on another variable. And so let's look at the whole topic. Effect of is the broad objective. Forensic accounting is the independent variable. And fraud detection, prevention, and investigation are the dependent variables. So you could see that this particular topic has three dependent variables. We're looking at fraud detection, we are looking at fraud prevention, and we are looking at fraud investigation. And so these three constitute the dependent variable in this particular topic. And now our object or population of interest is banks. We are focused on banks. We are interested in researching into banks. How forensic accounting, the effect of forensic accounting on fraud prevention, detection, and investigation in banks. Banks, yeah, our object or population of interest. And in that topic, you could see that United Kingdom is the domain or the scope of this study, where this study would be conducted. In summary, that your research project topic must show even the broad objective, identify the variables of interest, the object and population of interest, and the domain or scope where the study would be domiciled. Now, look at these topics before you. We have corporate governance and earnings management of listed firms in America. Corporate governance here is the independent variable. Earnings management is the dependent variable. Listed firms is the object or population of interest. You may be interested in firms that are not listed. Or you may be interested in listed and unlisted firms, whichever one. And then America is the domain and scope. Now, what is the broad objective? Remember, you have corporate governance and earnings management. So you are interested in establishing an association, a relationship. And even in that relationship, it could be a causa effect relationship, and that in the study we will get to know. But the title is well worded, captured, and it contains all the indices of a good research project topic. Look at the second topic there: the rise of street art and its impact on modern culture among Igbira clan in southwestern Nigeria. Now, you could see that the rise of street art, that is the independent variable, and then modern culture is the dependent variable. Now, impact, you are looking at impact there, that is the broad objective. Then among Igbira clan, you are looking at the object or population of interest. Then in southwestern Nigeria is where this study will be conducted. That is a scope or domain of this study. So we look at the third: advances in information technology and its influence on business modeling among listed manufacturing firms in Ghana. Now you could see again that advances in technology is the independent variable in that topic. Business modeling is the dependent variable in that topic. Influence there is the broad objective of that topic. And then, of course, the object or population of interest is listed manufacturing firms. So you are only focusing on manufacturing firms and those ones that are listed. And then the scope or domain of that research is in Ghana. So the study will be conducted where? In Ghana. And the fourth topic there we have the impact of claims management, digital transformation, and risk assessment on company performance and customer satisfaction in South Africa. So from this topic, you could see the broad objective identified there: impact of. That's the broad objective. Then the independent variables, you have claim management, digital transformation, and risk assessment. These three constitute the independent variables. And then the dependent variable, we have company performance and customers satisfaction. These are the dependent variable. Now, what's the object or population of interest? So in this particular topic, you have two objects and population of interest. You're looking at company and you are looking at customers. Company aspect, you are looking at their performance, and customer aspect, you are looking at their satisfaction. So this study is a complicated study where you will be collecting information regarding companies and also their customers. So you want to see how claims management, digital transformation, and risk assessment affect companies' performance. That's one object or population of interest, company. And customer satisfaction, that's another object or population of interest in one topic. And then where? The domain in South Africa. And before I go, I want you to make a commitment that you are going to do your research project yourself. You're not going to buy an already made project and you are not going to contract it out. It's a joyful thing when you do this research project yourself, because you'll be contributing to knowledge, you'll be advancing knowledge, you'll be innovating, and also you are contributing to development even of your nation and the world at large. But when you buy your research project or compromise your research project, then you are a part of those causing the problem in the world and even in our nation. Don't add to the falsehood that is already out there, but be one of those that will add even to the truism of what a research project is all about. I assure you it's an enjoyable journey and one that you will so enjoy, and you'll be happy that you have added to development, you have added even to knowledge, and you have also innovated within your field of study. For further training, contact us via our WhatsApp contact. You could also reach us through our email, ritaacademy@gmail.com. You could also follow us on our LinkedIn, our YouTube or Instagram page, and TikTok handle. Thank you very much. God bless you.